Tell you, since I got older, one of the things I look for is cast iron. Man, cast iron's a different beast, and it's fun. It really does elevate your cooking, even with a little bit of care.
And you can find a good one for like a good price.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Interest of the greater good for me to smoke a joint and calm down.
Greatest. He'll fall an eight to prove that I'm great. And if he keeps talking jive, I'm going to cut it to five.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Ville Chillin' Podcast, brought to you by Ville ENT. Today, we wanted to draw some attention to Louisville dirt malls, which, if you don't know, it's just a slang way to say flea markets, or as we really know, Peddler's Mall. I don't know how regional that brand is, but we definitely have a lot of them here, and you can find some real gold at some of these places. And Jack, what do you look for in like a flea market when you go?
Everything and nothing. Like when I go to like a flea market or Peddler's Mall, sometimes I'm not even looking for something specific, but I know that if I just go there, I'll find something, awesome, like random.
Yeah, you always find something interesting. You might go with the intention of maybe I'll find this or that. Like when I've gone to a lot of like Peddler's Mall, flea market, secondhand market type things, when I was younger, it was mostly like records, vinyl albums. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, dude, they're still there too. Like random too. Like you'll see a stack of some records, and there'll be everything from like some like old school like Willie Nelson or something, all the way to like just like talk radio.
I think I have a Willie Nelson album, but along with many others, Leonard Skinner and tons of them. And when I found them, it was usually at more of a flea market type deal, because you go to music stores these days and they're collector's items. So, and that's kind of what flea markets really specialize in, is having those things, but at a better rate. But I got to tell you, since I got older, one of the things I look for is cast iron, or that I want to look for. I haven't even been, but getting more into cooking and everything. Cast iron, man. Cast iron's a different beast, and it's fun. It really does elevate your cooking, even with a little bit of care for the material. You know what I'm saying?
And you can find a good one for like a good price too. There, like that's one of those ones like you're going to be paying like 2 or 3 times as much if you go, like
a new good cast iron pan's like $60.
Yep.
Whereas you can get them for probably 15 or 20 at the right, flea market. And the thing about cast iron is, even if it's a little rusty, it's one of those things where if you know what you're looking for, you can clean it right up.
And you get that extra flavor for free.
Yeah, a little bit of rust flavor. No, you clean that off.
Like, where else are you going to get like a rotary phone, a winking cup, with the, I don't know why it's doing that. But.
It was just the style of the day. And if it matters to you, then it definitely mattered to somebody. And there's so much there to choose from. But Peddler's Mall is just one option. And it's a little bit different than just a typical flea market, right? People aren't usually there to...
Yeah, no one's like manning the booth or whatever. What you do is you just, you take your inventory there, you tag it up, and then, people pick it up and just go to the register. You're not... Right, but more passive, I guess, than actual. Like with the flea market, you got people, kind of haggling, going back and forth, and versus with that, where it's just Peddler's Mall kind of takes care of everything, I guess.
Yeah, Peddler's Mall is almost like consignment. You don't have to donate all of your time to do it. You just have to put the items in there, and I'm sure you got to pay so much for the booth and everything. So but it is a lot different in that you don't have to spend your whole time there manning it. But there's definitely been some cool stuff there. I've seen a lot of cool stuff there, and they pack a lot into a small space.
Yeah, and that's the cool part about it too, is like, because there is so much there, where it's kind of like a seek and find, like where
they got those too.
Yeah, literally, yeah. So it's just fun trying to find like whatever treasure, like, because sometimes it feels like behind these cups there or whatever it is, like that there might be something else, and then you find something gold behind all the
Yeah, I mean, you never know what you're going to find at any of these places, and then especially Peddler's Mall, because I bet some of the people selling stuff don't even know what all they have up there. Sometimes some people pack so much stuff in a booth.
Right, and you'll see that there too, like where one booth might buy from another booth and then just resell it and double it, or they might just be resellers, reselling on like eBay or something.
Yeah, you never know. You never know who's shopping or selling at Peddler's Mall.
Right. You'll get artists too. There's a lot of artists that have booths, so sometimes you'll get it to where they might get like a piece of furniture from one booth, do their own thing on it as far as like art, like adding some like art, like paint pours or something like that, and then just resell it, right at the booth across from the one, and just double up on the price.
One man's trash is another man's treasure. So
right, or art.
There's a lot of things you can just pick up, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, of course, but there's a lot of things you can just pick up from someone else selling it cheaper, and then sell it for more because you understand it's worth a little more, or you think it's worth more. So it's a lot of what you see going on back and forth, I guess.
And it kind of goes into, I guess, like all the different like the different reasons people are there. Right, when someone's shopping at one of the, either a Peddler's Mall or like a flea market or one of these secondhand kind of shops, there's one person that might be shopping there because they're literally just trying to get a deal so they can resell. That's cool. There's some people doing that. There's some people that are searching that are artists that are just looking for something where they can do like some kind of really cool project. And then, people that are just looking for, like really awesome records, it's just real random, like a real cool combination of different people there for different reasons.
The people selling the paintings are buying the blank canvases from the person selling the blank canvases.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah.
Very symbiotic.
And I think, honestly, what you see with like flea markets, dirt malls, quote unquote, whatever you want to call them. I mean that in the best of way. It is a community thing, though. Generally, like the same people selling stuff at flea markets or peddlers malls and stuff are the same ones buying stuff from those places.
Same.
So
Definitely,
it's a very symbiotic community, and it's kind of funny, and it's a community that you see a lot of in Louisville. There's flea markets everywhere, and people from every walk of life love just browsing these places, and so it's really cool to see that it's so rich in our city.
Yeah, definitely. And you're 100% right there. It brings a lot of different people together, different like classes and things like that. You'll get people, who, from fixed incomes who are just, they need a deal versus, people that are just very, well off, and they still, they go there because they understand the value, I guess, of some of the items that are there also, like antiques and stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess with that, we've already mentioned Peddler's Mall quite a bit, but there's quite a few more around the city, right? I mean, one kind of outside the city, but close, is the Awesome Flea Market. And isn't it like considered like one of the world's largest flea markets?
Yes, and I think that has a lot to do with just the amount of different vendors there. Like before you even walk in the door, there's probably, a good 50 to 100, depending on, the weather, people just manning the booths outside. And then once you go inside, then it's like double that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they have a lot of stuff going on. They even have a lazy river right there because of where they're located. Right there, like outside Shepherdsville or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's part of it's like Kentucky River. I think it's part of the Kentucky River that goes kind of like, I think it like fades, it goes into the Ohio, or maybe the Ohio goes into the Kentucky River. Either way, I know one year there was someone that like was just chilling on one of their tubes, and they ended up in like Fort Knox, dude, like military and everything.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, it was like 2 hours down. They didn't know where they was, but
that's crazy.
No casualties.
That would be terrifying. But just another thing to do, if you ever want to plan a day to go look at, flea market stuff, like whatever you might find, which we already discussed so many things you can find. They got the lazy river there too when it's decent weather. It's closed right now, but definitely check their website out for when they open back up.
Yeah, just be careful. Don't fall asleep.
Don't fall asleep. Yeah.
Don't fall asleep at the flea market. Wake up at a military base. Don't be that guy.
Definitely bring somebody with you to make sure you're not responsible for yourself. And then if you both fall asleep, well, somebody set an alarm, I guess. I don't know. But there's also the Flea Off Market, and they do specific events every year, right? They They got one coming up March 30th, and then some in May, and then through the summer. And that's just another huge flea market. I mean, you can see how many booths are set up there in the picture if you're looking at the visual version on YouTube. And there's quite a lot of people there.
Oh yeah, like tons of different vendors. I think they have some like live music and things like that. They have a lot of brewers too. Like if that's really where I feel like a lot of like the new breweries that have been popping up around Louisville. I feel like I first heard about them at places like this. The Flea off market. So really cool exposure for local businesses.
Yeah, and I mean they're just one option who only has stuff going on, every so often. But there's so many. You got the Derby Park Flea Market, which has stuff going on even different weekends. And their website has all that listed. And there's Tickled Pink Memorabilia Mall, which I think is more like probably antique driven, but just another thing where if you're looking for older items, there's places here in the city that kind of specialize in that too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like with them, there's more that antique and memorabilia or whatever. Like you got the Simpsons there, but then also like the old. It looked like Andy Griffith and.
Well, that's old Simpsons. We're talking. That's like 30 years old now. Remember,
yeah, that's
old.
the original. You're right. That's the original Simpsons. That isn't.
That's antique now, brother. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff there. I didn't mean to cut you off, but you can see like there's old brands, old things, just available at several different booths. So it seems like more of a little specialty place, but it's almost like a time capsule.
Oh, there's your cast irons, bro.
There they are. They just got a customer, like that looks like a really awesome pizza pan. It's just shallow enough to be like a baked pizza pan and just big enough. Look at that picture. That looks amazing. $25. You're not going to beat that. You're not going to get that for $25, and that's an easy cleanup.
Better hurry up, bro. Somebody's going to beat you to it.
And this post, how old is that? 10 hours ago?
10 hours? Yeah, it's gone.
Probably, but man. Yeah, that I'm definitely going to go there sometime, though.
So in Tickled Pink, it's like it's right on Taylor Boulevard. So, I mean, there's not really any other good options, I don't think, for like different kinds of flea markets or peddlers malls. The closest one's going to be maybe the 7th Street Flea Market. Yeah. So definitely if you're on Taylor, off Taylor, check them out.
And then one other one that we wanted to mention was Florida Flea.
Florida Flea?
That's kind of a new one. I hadn't heard of them, but they do welcome pets, which I think is really cool. As long as they're on a leash, pets are welcome. And it says it's a 35,000 square foot indoor warehouse. So in Paristown.
That sounds fancy.
Well, and it's close to like the Highlands in Germantown. And so it's just another neighborhood that's being, renovated for that kind of stuff. So just one more attraction, one more area. They hold a lot. Paristown itself hosts a lot of things during like Halloween and stuff too that we've talked about. So really cool. They got outdoor shows, garden shows,
almost like farmers markets,
and just all kinds of stuff to offer. I mean, just like any of the flea markets we've discussed. And they got special events that they host. So there's a record show, there was a record show back in February. They have the garden show coming up. And then they're actually going to be on the waterfront coming up. So you can see some of the things they got just going to the waterfront, looks like. So can't believe I missed the record show. I'll have to look out for that in the future because finding vinyl is expensive these days. Like Pokemon cards, man.
Right. Like we don't have ear ecstasy anymore in places like that, those local record shops. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Spend too much money on vinyl. Vinyl and cast iron. Anybody let me know if you know where to get some vinyl and cast iron, because I'll probably buy it. But yeah, Louisville has a very rich flea market and dirt mall, if you will.
It's the jam.
History. Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with what was that from? That was
Mallrats.
Mallrats. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, and like it's fitting.
I think we've talked about Kevin Smith on the show before, so
the great dude. Yeah, and it makes sense too because like it's fitting because I feel like a lot of the traditional malls here in Louisville are kind of going away. Like if you go to like Jefferson Mall which is most of the shops are closed there. They're kind of building construction. It almost looks like for like more parking and like almost like a
restaurants.
Yes. So there's not really much there like there used to be. And then I mean it's kind of also with like St. Matthews and Oxmoor. I mean the dirt malls are the best malls right now here in Louisville for real.
When you're actually looking for stuff to buy instead of just browsing or food to eat or like a special outfit or something, if you're really just looking to browse, the dirt malls are the better places. You're going to find much more interesting stuff. But other than that, I mean, other than clothes, what did malls used to get us? Music and movies a lot, right? You had music stores, you had movie stores, cinema stores. And in reality, all that's online now. So
Right.
places like
Good point.
FYE and stuff like that are struggling. Like, what are they doing? What are they selling? All media is online now. So traditional malls are struggling to even be able to make enough capital to sell those spaces, to sell those stores and, pay the rent. So,
Well, and even with the food, like I mean, some of them, like if you go to the awesome flea market or whatever, like they have vendors. If the weather's nice, they'll have like food trucks out there, so you get really good local food.
and half the time
artists.
that food's better than a food area in a normal mall.
Right, unless we talking about the sample lady, like there's no competition. Like that's
Exactly. Remember when you could get those samples at like Kroger though? Or Sam's?
R.I.P.
Oh man. But yeah, it definitely makes a difference, dude. Some of the best food I've had is on food trucks.
Yeah, so I mean, you get that, you get local food, and then you go inside, and there's sometimes there's like local art and stuff like that. So you get the best of both worlds. So not only
Local music gets booked.
there you go, yeah, right. So then at that point, it's just helping more exposure for the local community, and then also like the local just like more money that sticks around versus like with a lot of the malls. Like a Hot Topic, like the different shops in there, like a Hot Topic or a Spencer's or something, a lot of that money isn't coming back here.
Yeah. As much as we might have been in Hot Topic when we were younger.
Oh, it's the jam, yeah. Like,
yeah, it definitely makes a difference. And it is really cool that Louisville has such a scene for it. I think it kind of speaks to the combination of the big city yet small town nature of Louisville. It's big city enough that there's enough of these places, and it's small town enough to recognize the importance of these places. So
yeah, and you emphasizing like the small town and big city kind of feel or whatever. Like what comes to mind is that keep Louisville weird, which I know it didn't originate here. I guess like Austin or whatever, but us growing up, like keep Louisville weird was a really cool slogan, and I feel like. The different malls, the different like Peddler's malls and the flea markets kind of like represent that very well.
Well, and Louisville is a big nostalgia city. And it's been shown kind of recently, and the fact that you say keep Louisville weird, kind of what made that popular here in Louisville was Ear Ecstasy, right?
Yes.
You saw it a lot on Ear Ecstasy bumper stickers. And Jack Harlow's mom recently, she's been in the news for, reselling or auctioning off or helping auction off the signs that signified the 1 lane or the double lane changes on Barstown Road. She's also advocating for bringing back Ear Ecstasy. I saw it in the same article. So,
well, and it's funny you say that because I'm just now putting that together. Like That sounds exactly like something that would be sold at a flea market or a peddler's mall, just like
Exactly.
a random sign. Like,
Louisville's a big nostalgia city. These historic items mean a lot to us.
definitely.
And so you can see it. You can see it in the malls. You can see it in what's actually happening current day in the city, because that's just been going on for like 2 weeks, right? And they're selling off those signs, and it all connects, you know. A little bit of synchronicity for the Louisville scene, but it all interconnects, and it is kind of funny how it all interconnects. But we're definitely a nostalgic city. We take pride in our history, and you know, Jack Harlow and even his mom's doing a lot to spread that. So, but you can definitely find a lot in these peddlers malls or the dirt malls, the flea markets. Wherever you choose to go, you can find so much history. You can find things like it triggers memories in me walking through some of these places and seeing whether it's Nintendo 64 games or the same like porcelain plates my grandma's had. You know what I mean? So
Definitely. Yep. You see different like kitchenware or whatever there that like reminds you of like even like what comes to mind is like the little like blue and white plates.
yes, with the little flowers. Yeah, you
that's
find
the
tons of
fancy
those things.
stuff.
That's exactly
Right.
what I was just
there it
talking
is.
about.
There it was.
Yeah.
I just think it.
yeah. It's everywhere, and so it's those little things, and you know, between that and the records and some of the furniture and
Stacks of like derby glasses. I don't know if like the other flea markets in other cities or whatever have that, but there's just like stacks of like derby glasses and derby pins for no reason.
for no reason, right? You might open a gold pen from like 1990 something, and it means nothing now, but somebody could have had that back then.
Oh, dude. I remember one flea market. It was like right outside Louisville. I forget which one. I want to say it wasn't the Awesome Flea Market. I know it wasn't that one, but it was like close to out Shepherdsville or somewhere. And I look up and I see an urn. Dude, someone's grandma was just chilling at this flea market. And like I pick it up and like like the ashes are still in there. Like it was
Oh dear.
It was only $10. Like I should have bought it, dude. Like
When you really want your family members to live on, dude.
Man. This was her favorite place. Like this is where we're gonna leave Granny.
We gotta leave Kentucky, so we're gonna leave her here. Oh no. You got any more stories about the flea market?
Maybe next time.
The dirt malls.
Good times.
One of the few places you can have some nostalgia in this city anymore. You know, everything's changed. Preston's changed. Taylor's changed. Dixie's changed. Everything's changed. But when you walk through one of these places, you can really experience some nostalgia. So I think that's really cool. You know, in our little city, our little big city, I think that's really cool. So it was definitely worth highlighting and worth making an episode for.
Definitely.
So I guess with that, unless you got anything else to add, my brother,
Nope. I think we covered it with the dirt malls.
I think that'll call it then. And I guess we'll see y'all next time.
Yo.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Interest of the greater good for me to smoke a joint and calm down.
I am the greatest. He'll fall an ace to prove that I'm great. And if he keeps talking jive, I'm gonna cut it to 5.